Okay, so I'm going to start doing a figure drawing on white paper, and I'm going to add the darks and the medium values. But I'm going to start with the lines of action. So I'm going to start out viewing it as a stick figure. So the person is sitting. So the spine is about right here. I'm taking my time with this. The neck is over here, and the head is about here. So I'm going to make a line from shoulder to shoulder. And a shape for the torso. A shape for, I'm kind of not really doing the line of action. So line of action is here and leg is here. So this person is clothed. So again, you're going to have to use, if you're just starting out, you're always going to have to use a reference. The reference could be like a picture of a figure from a fashion magazine, or like a photograph of a figure, or it could be a printout of a drawing of a figure. Or if you actually have a person that can sit for you for a long period of time, that would be best. But I recommend using visual aids first. Unless you're really advanced, then you can actually just do it out of your head. But you have to be really advanced to get to that point. So I'm just getting it, I'm getting the figure broken up into major shapes. So this is the head, this is the neck. And now I'm going for the arm right here. I'm going to show you my drawing that I'm using. So I just printed out Renaissance figure drawings. I just looked up, for these, I looked up Renaissance figure drawings and I just printed out a bunch of images. So this is a person's backside twisting. So here's the arm. It's going to take me a while to kind of get this right, and then I'm going to try to put in the shading. So this is higher, or maybe it just angles up. Again, you have to move stuff around when you're drawing. And have an eraser with you. So I'm trying to get the shape of the fabric of the dress. And you can kind of see her leg through the dress. You can see her arm through the fabric. But the fabric takes over the figure in kind of a different way. I'm just trying to get in big shapes before I try to put in detail. So her dress is hanging all the way down here on the ground. Okay, so I'm going to come in and I'm going to erase my lines of action. That was just kind of a central line for me to build the drawing on, but now I don't want that in there. It's just creating too much distraction. Okay. So now I'm going to come in here and try to do a bit of a darker contour, but I want to make sure it's correct. Like these shapes were pretty generalized. So I may be kind of moving a little bit away from the shapes that I made. And I'm trying to get the contour as correct as I can on the first layer. This is like the stitchery of the sleeve. And I may need to correct this layer as well, but I'm just trying to get something substantial in here. So her dress is way out here quite a bit more, but that looks like another part of her dress. I'm looking for the curve of the belt. So this is a time-consuming process, as you can already tell. Sorry, I'm just focusing on the drawing, and I know I'm going to need to do some adjusting as well. I'll probably do one video for blocking it in and then one video for shading it. Okay, I need to work on the head. And need to do some erasing here. Okay. So the hair, we're seeing the back of the head. So the hair is coming around like here. They go like, imagine if someone had a bowl on top of their head. And then we're seeing the face kind of like this. I'm just thinking, is that chin too long? It looks too long. Hold on. Okay. The hair comes out here. And then there's like, I think it's a braid right here. If you're doing something and you like this and you see something that's kind of challenging like the braid and you want to leave that out, that's fine. I'm just attempting it. I don't know if I'm going to leave it in there. I'm looking now kind of at the whole thing, and I'm just going to do maybe one more kind of round of contour. First, I'm going to erase some of these sketchy lines just to see what I need to correct. It's actually, I think it came out pretty good. This arm may need to be lower though. I'm just looking for little things I might need to fix. Like some of these folds I'm going to put in. I'm going to do a lot of it with the shading, but I just want to I'm going to bring this out a little bit more. Just looking for little things that may need to be corrected. This probably comes out a little bit more. All right, I'm going to leave it and I'm going to start shading. I'm probably just going to stay in the same video. So I'm going to start with some light gray. I'm using colored pencils. So again, I'm just finding areas of light and dark and kind of blocking them in. Quite a bit of this is light gray. Some of it is white and some of it is darker gray and black. So again, I'm just looking for areas of value. The harder part, the part with the folded fabric is going to be harder. So I'm going to try my best to leave the white paper as the light area. This is pretty much all gray right here, except for a little tiny bit of white up here. So I'm putting in a base value and then I'm going to adjust it. That's too dark. I'm going to use the pencil, the regular pencil, to put in a darker gray right here. These are folds in the fabric. I'm just trying to get this line right. And then there's like kind of darker shapes that are kind of in shadow in the fabric. And I'm kind of trying to blend them into the lighter area. All right. I don't like that. That doesn't look that great. And saying that you don't like it, I know I say that a lot. That just gives me incentive to kind of improve on it, you know, until I feel like it's looking really good. I'm making a big shape for a fold. Okay. So I'm just working one area at a time. I'm gonna get the pencil and make a line here. There's like a kind of a weird fold in here. And if you see something like this that seems to kind of hard to do, then you don't have to do it. You can do as much or as little as you want. There's a part here that's kind of white, so I want to leave the paper white. For that part. Okay, I'm coming back to this pencil, the regular pencil. And I'm trying to put in areas of dark. And you know what? I used a darker pencil here. This is a 4B, and before I was using a B, but I'm going to darken this because I like the way the darker pencil looks. I just didn't want to get too dark too soon. And I'll just leave some of the lighter pencil in there so it looks like the darker value is blending into the lighter value. Okay, that's a start. This is going to take a bit of time. If you want, you can speed the video up. So there's a little white here, so I'm going to leave a highlight here. I'm kind of outlining a highlight that I want to leave in here. It's pretty light. The shading is pretty, it's pretty light in nature. I'm just getting major shapes and I'll see about blending them later. I think I'm going to focus down here a little bit, just because I don't want to get too wrapped up in this until I feel like this is somewhat started. That's not right. I need to leave a little trim of white right here. Okay. Okay, I'm looking down here at this part. So there's like a fold right here, which is darker. So I'm going to use a bit of a darker gray. So I'm moving some of the lines that were not really in the right place. And you're always seeing stuff. So I was seeing it in relation to this fold, but I didn't have this fold in there. So when I put the fold in there, that helped me figure out where the line should be. Just trying to get this right. Okay, so now I'm going to go in here with a darker gray because this is darker just for this section. Okay. Now there's folds within this section, but I'm trying to break it up into sections just to make it easier for me. Doesn't look quite right, but sometimes you have to just keep going if you think something's off. I may add black to this later, but all right. Okay, let me go dark right here and here. And then it's going to get lighter. Okay. I'm just putting a little shading on the edges of these folds because they're curving. All right. I'm going to come back up here. I'm doing it as fast as I can. Oh, this line is this. I see. There we go. I'm going to adjust this, but I'm just trying to get major areas of light and kind of light and a light dark. Light and light gray. I'm just seeing if I'm if I'm on the right track with the shapes. If I'm making them too big or too small. If you make a mistake, you can kind of absorb it into the drawing, right? Like this maybe should be a little over there, but I'm not going to redraw and try to erase. I'm going to come back up here with my regular pencil. I'm raising the dress a little bit. There we go. I think that's a little bit better. I'm going to go with the pencil again. Okay, so this shape is kind of going like that to this fold. Okay. If it's not perfect, you're learning while you're doing it. This is definitely not perfect. Okay, but it's kind of getting somewhere. All right. All right, let's go. Let's take a look at this thing here. I'm just finding big shapes. So here you're kind of seeing her knee, right, through the dress with the folds. So I'm just getting big shapes and then I'll come in and try to shade them for creases. I'm wondering if I should stop and start again. I don't want the video to get too long, so I'm going to stop and restart because sometimes it won't upload if it's too long. So now I'm going to put in some dark or mediums here. Let me go down here. Like in this fold, I'm not making it as complicated. Like there's a fold within this, but I'm just going to simplify it. And that's what I meant when I said you can simplify certain things if it just seems to be too much, right? Or if you don't have time for what you're wanting to do. This line is much more like that. Okay. Again, I'm just looking for shapes that are darker and the in between. I mean, that doesn't look realistic right now, but I'm just blocking in areas of value in between our lighter areas. This is going to go lower. This needs another layer, at least. That was just a starting point. I'm going to put in some darks down here. So the light was just kind of my first layer. There's a fold right here, and right under this fold, it's quite a bit. There needs to be something right here darker. Okay, I'm going to leave that. I'm going to come on up here. I'm going to leave that alone for a minute. I'm going to look at the top more. Again, you do as much as you feel like you can. Or you do as much detail as you want to. You know what I mean? If it just seems like it's too much, then, like I could make this a lot more simple by eliminating the folds, right? There's also some folds up here, but of course not as many because it's tighter. There's quite a few in the arm though. So I'm going to leave a little white above these folds. And right here. That needs to be refined, but let's just keep going. Okay. I'm going to sharpen this pencil. I'm actually going to remove this. I don't know what it is, and I just don't want it there. Okay. All right. You know what? Before I do that, I'm going to come back in here with a darker pencil. If you shade like on the curve, then it's going to kind of imitate cross contour lines. and a little bit right here. That's not the whole layer. I just wanted to get that little bit in. Okay. So I'm looking at, I'm going to make some pencil lines first. These are just major fold lines. I'm trying to give myself a head start. Okay. That's just that was just to help me find some of the folds on the fabric. All right, this is going to be a little bit challenging. There's like a white highlight going through the center. There's another shape right here. Okay. I don't know, like I'm not putting in everything because it's a bit much. I'm doing as much as I can. We're gonna have to come back to that. Okay. I'm probably just gonna I'm gonna simplify her hair. It's the braid is a bit much. So since I'm copying right now, I'm just working on skills. Like I couldn't, but I mean, I'm using creative license. But I mean, I can't put this in a gallery unless it's an original drawing. But I'm just working on skills and practicing right now to just get, or that's what I'm wanting the students to do, to get you up to speed, to be able to just pull one of these off on your own. Okay. So this is, I'm simplifying it just because I think the braids would just be too complex to do right now. Okay, so there's an ear. I'm just trying to see kind of how it looks. Something like that. And I still feel like this chin is too long. That's a bit better. Before I do anything more, I'm going to come in with this pencil and kind of define some of the edges and shade some of the edges. So this is kind of a contour definition. Just before I go any further, I just want to see how defining it will help the drawing. Okay. Now, look at this for a second. These lines may be a bit dark, but Okay. I'm just adding to some of these folds here. Whoops. I'm just kind of getting an overview of what I need to do. This is a lighter pencil because the figure is lighter over here and I don't want to go too dark with it. I'm just looking at it again. It's kind of veering off from the actual photograph now, but again, I could do another couple of layers on it, but I'm going to stop here